Welcome back to the Million Ways to It podcast.
We're back, baby.
What's going on with you, buddy, man?
Doing good, bro. Blessed and highly favored today.
Blessed and highly favored.
Brother,
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shadadi.
Yeah, come on. The Lord is good.
Yeah, all the time. All the time?
Well, we're wasting too much time. We're wasting time right now. We have a very special guest.
Very, very
one
special
that I've
guest.
been anticipating for a while now.
Indeed.
Pastor Max Gomez is in the building.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
We're looking this way, but you guys are seeing him right here.
Come on now.
So we just want, if you feel a little weird about where we're looking right now, it's because of that right now, okay?
No, man. How are you, Max? Let's start there.
Man, I can't call it. I just spoil it, man. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Hey, true pastor.
That's a word right there.
I can't call it, man.
Oh man, I appreciate you for taking the time out to sit and speak with us, man. I've paid attention. We've spoken already. I've paid attention to what you have going on, and I'm a fan. I can't wait to dive deeper into you and what you have going on, but also just really lock into your journey. Yeah. We have our own. We've been speaking on that. Matthew could attest to this. We've been we're men in our 20s.
Yeah. And you have a particular message for men in their 20s. So we feel like this is the time for us to really engage with all the content creators that are inspiring, impacting, and somewhat entertaining those who are trying to build something of themselves. The ones that don't have the trust funds, the ones that don't have, handouts or anything like that. Those who have grown up but really want to do better for themselves, but it'd be easier to kind of backslide and go back into the ways that they know aren't destined for them and what God has in store for them. So we really wanted to engage in this conversation with you based off of what we've seen from your content in general. Like, I've known you since I was a young buck at Oakwood University. Shout out OU. Shout out OU. And Hansie was in your class.
Yes.
So that right there, solidifies our connection. So, but before we get into, that kind of content, we always want to give a sound check.
Come on,
right?
Man.
We had
sound check time.
Yeba is one of the greatest artists of our generation. One of the greatest vocalists of our generation. And she handed out to us an album that we were calling for that some people may have some mixed reviews on. How do you feel?
Me, it's not the album that I expected, but I'm still happy with what she gave us. I'm a fan of alternative sounding music. I don't need the rah all the time. I don't need but she her vocal ability. We come from a place where we take pride in vocal ability, right? She has that, but she kind of brought together production in a way that I haven't seen in a while. So I'm happy with what I got. I wasn't expecting it, and I was thrown off at first. I won't lie and say like, hey, this is the album I wanted, but I'm happy with the product we got.
Yeah. So I liked it. I thought that Jean, which is the name of the album, was a very telling, a storytelling type of album, and she posted on Instagram before the album dropped a whole bunch of different names of the producers and people that worked on the project with her, which I thought was very thoughtful of her, because most
to give
artists,
credit.
and she gave credit in a way that allowed me to be intentional about what I was listening to. Right, I got to check out some of the pages of the people that were able to put their hands and feet and neck and back into the album itself, and it kind of it changed the listening experience for me. So I didn't have a pure, I want to hear Yeba. It was, okay, I'm hearing a mixture of sounds put together where Yeba's presenting it. So
I love when an artist allows for the people behind the scenes who've put in that extra legwork, like you said, to get the shine that they deserve.
Yeah.
Max, what have you been listening to recently? Like what's been in your playlist? What's been in your rotation?
Unfortunately, fellas, I got an unpopular opinion, and
I like this.
I like
this
opinion, man. We're gonna start
Talk
off.
to me, man.
We gonna come out the gate swinging right now, man.
Swing
I like this.
I have not listened to music in like 2 to 3 years.
Wow. How has that been for you?
The reason is very simple. To me, I'm learning that ignorance is the most expensive cost I have. What's costing me most in my life is not what I buy, It's not my subscriptions to, Netflix. It's not, $5 coffee. It's what I don't know. And every day that I don't know something, that is one more day that is costing me in being able to gain the level of freedom and the wealth that I'm trying to achieve. Because you realize, bro, you and I are just one mindset shift or one knowledge or one piece of information away from doing something to the point of 10,000 iterations that you could begin to monetize or grow your life or better your life. And not just financially, I'm talking about holistically, right? Yeah. So every single day that I go by not knowing a thing, and the problem is I don't know what I don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know, so you have to go hunt for it, right? You only eat what you kill. Does that make sense? So for me, man, I just realized like music, sports, I don't watch sports. Like, I as much as I love basketball and football, and from time to time I may keep up with like what ESPN might say, or what I know we're gonna talk about the historic night from last night. Obviously, social media, right? But there's just some things I'm like, dude, like you talked about, right? These artists, they putting in these hours, putting in this work. Why would I spend my time watching and listening to someone else live their dreams when I could be building mine? Like, I think a great example of this is your boy from West Coast, LaRussell.
Yes.
Right? Like, he's someone that have begun listening to, but not like I'm gonna just play his whole album. But I'm just like, he's locked in.
Yeah, right? The information he had. Yeah.
So for me, man, it's the same way where I'm like, dude, because I'm in my 20s, I know that the disadvantage that I have is that I have a high level of inexperience. Mm-hmm. But the flip side is also true, right? Every disadvantage has a built-in advantage inside of it. So the built-in advantage that you and I have is that to the same degree of our inexperience is the same degree of our passion and energy, right? We have more energy now than we're gonna have probably when we're 50, 60, 70s, etc. So you might as well go ahead and try it all now. Like, they talk about 10,000 hours. I don't believe in the 10,000 hour rule. I believe in 10,000 iterations. Like, just keep on doing it over and over and over again, because the quicker you fail, the quicker you'll get to your success. But you got to get through those failures first. So if it's going to take me 10 failures and then my 11th in my breakthrough, I don't want to wait 10 years to get through those 10 failures. I'd rather go through 10 days. Does that make sense? Like, there is a need for speed right now. There's a high need for speed right now. So again, the time that I'm going to use listening to music, or I could use that time to build, to learn, to acquire, to apply all the knowledge as quickly as possible, get the failure out of the way, get the 10,000 iterations. And then from there, then one day, someone can have a podcast and be talking about me instead of me talking about them.
Yeah. And you know what? That reminds me of something like what Max is trying to do is not music.
Yeah.
Right? What we're trying to do isn't necessarily music either, but I'm a musician, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a music person. I was in the Aeolians. I teach music for a living. So keeping up with that particular lane is good for me, right?
Right.
But it's always to a certain point. If I'm giving too much of my time to that, where I'm no longer growing, or I'm no longer chasing the thing that is going to bring me to growth, then what am I doing it for, right? And I think that's how I listen to this album. I haven't gone back and like rinsed the album through. I listened to it once. I listened to a couple of other songs that I liked, and I'm moving on to the next thing because that's my consumption level that I can give to it.
I hear that.
And I didn't even think that we were gonna have a million way to it within sound check.
See,
okay,
that's a beautiful thing. What I was gonna say is, it sounds like you understood the value of your time.
Yeah.
What created that mindset shift for you at that time, where you were like, hey, I don't need this at this moment. This is not suiting me, and it's not allowing for me to get to my goals any quicker than I am right now.
Yeah. So when I was younger, my mom used to say this all the time. It's a saying that they say in Latino culture. They say, "El tiempo es oro, y el que lo pierde es un bobo." In other words, it's the same thing that we say in English. Time is money. It's kind of the same sentiment. But I learned maybe about 3 years ago now, that time is not money. And the reason why is because you can make money, lose money, and then make it again.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Can't make time
But
back.
you cannot make time.
Yeah.
You can only lose time. And when you lose time, you cannot make it back or get it back. That's it, it's gone. So the last, 10 minutes of this, like, we can't get it back.
Yeah.
It's gone forever. So therefore, time is not money. Time is more valuable than money. And when I understood that, I said, wealth for me is no longer about money. It's no longer about like M's in the bank account. Wealth, what I'm trying to achieve, genuinely, what I'm trying to achieve in wealth is what I call options. I want options. I want the option that I wake up and I decide that I don't want to do this or that I do want to do that, right? I want the option that, you know what, in the middle of the day, I want to go out and have lunch with my wife. I want the option. You know what, this weekend, I'm gonna go to California. I want the option. You know what, today, I want to work 10 hours straight. You know what, today, I want the option. I'm going to go on a plane and fly to the Dominican Republic to see my mom. I want options, not money. I want option, the option that I get to wake up and do what I want to do today, and I don't have to answer to nobody. That level of freedom, I realize I'm not going to get it by just, again, flipping my money, this, that, and the third. No. Time is more valuable than money. So I'm not going to get the time back. So it helps to reprioritize what is most important. Is it more important for me to lock in, or is it more important for me to spend some time with my family? If I die tomorrow, which one do I want to spend time with? Locking in or with people who I love? So therefore, because I have the time, I have to make sure, okay, I need to do things that are going to move the needle, number one. And number two, at the end of the day, I got to spend time with people who I want to spend time with, which is y'all. So I appreciate y'all for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate you more than anything.
Man, we've gotten
so much.
We're
gaining knowledge right now.
so much in this time because I can relate to so much of what you're saying in terms of options. I think me and Matthew have these conversations off mic all the time, and even on mic about what we're trying to achieve. But like the level of freedom, the level of security in what we're doing and how much sacrifice that takes, right? We've been speaking on, I think the last couple of weeks we've been speaking on not realistic, but the vulnerability of the journey. Right?
Transparency.
The transparency of the journey, right? Like, and I really want to peel back the layers. I want to take it back, right? You've been pastoring for a while. I want to
a background check.
A little background check.
Yeah, forget a sound check. Forget a sound check. We're doing a background check now. We need a background check on who Max Gomez is, because I mean, if I heard correctly, that was Spanish he was speaking to us fluently.
Absolutely.
Now. So I know the people they want to know. What's going on? What's happening? Tell us about you, please.
We want to know.
Yeah, man. So, quick synopsis of who I am. My dad was deported by ICE when I was around 8 or 9 years old. Grew up in a single parent home. Spanish was the first language that I learned, but I didn't learn English until third grade, because the schools that I was going to weren't teaching us any classes. So they were literally passing the students, but we weren't learning anything. So, single parent home, deported dad, couldn't speak the language of the country. And of course, when you single parent, man, I tell people all the time, man, me and my mom, we weren't poor. We had to save up to be poor. That's the kind of poor that we were. And I mean, it's your typical story of the block. You know what I'm saying? The paint is crumbling off of the walls because management has let the property go for a long time. You got the hum of, crime and the buzz of drugs, and you know what I'm saying, police are like school buses. They come around every day, all that kind of stuff. But that's just the life. That's just the grind. And so eventually, man.
Where was this, by the way? Where did you experience this?
Oh, man, this is all Tampa, Florida. That's where I'm from.
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, man. Wow. So
I could have sworn he was gonna say New York. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah. People think I'm from New York, but I'm really from Florida, man. Florida boy all the way, man. So, of course, unfortunately, got in trouble a lot at school. And so my mom one day was like, all right, you got 3 options. Very simple. You're either going to military school you're either going to juvie or you're going to this boarding academy in Orlando, Florida. But the one thing you're not going to do is stay home. You're not staying here. Yeah, man. So I was like,
you attended FLA?
Yeah, I went to FLA,
wow.
bro.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So I went to FLA 11th and 12th grade.
Okay.
Went to FLA, and unfortunately, man, the change of my location didn't change my behavior. So I kept getting in trouble. I got suspended once my junior year, suspended twice my senior year, and I was kindly asked to withdraw from school 2 weeks before high school graduation.
Wow.
Yeah, man. But dude, man, I mean, you know, God is good. Somebody stepped in my situation, appealed to the school board. Man, they let me walk. And then that summer, I found out about Oakwood. It's crazy because I had applied to Oakwood senior year. So for those of you who do not know who are listening to the podcast, on these different academies in our denomination, we have different universities as well that are supported in our denomination. And so these universities or these colleges, they come and they do like a school fair. So they come to the school, they set up booths like in the gym, and then you can apply to that school. And so usually, you guys know this, college applications cost money.
Yes, they do.
But when they come to you, the applications are waived. The fee is waived so that they can try to recruit as many students as possible. So I filled one out. Bro, I was BSing it. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it was the only school that I applied to. And I only applied to it because the girlfriend that I had at the time, she was from Huntsville. So she went to Oakwood Adventist Academy, which is OAA. So I was just literally like copying her application word for word, except for my name. I literally just did it and didn't think about it. So the summer comes. This is now 2015. Oh, you've been accepted to Oakwood University. I said, when? I forgot all about it. Long story short, man, you know, I get to Oakwood freshman year, and man, the rest is just history.
Wow.
Fair enough.
I kind of want to tell a story now that you even got to this point. You might not remember this, but you were actually one of the first people I ever met when I got to Oakwood. I remember walking into the church in the balcony Saturday morning. It had to have been Sabbath school, and I see this Hispanic kid with a mohawk fro at the time.
Yeah.
Sitting in the corner, and it's Max, right? I'm a pew or two behind him, and at this time, you know, we're wide-eyed freshmen trying to figure out this. Oakwood looked different at the time. It felt different at the time. He could tell you this. It was a different atmosphere around the whole area.
Easily.
And I just seen someone who was locked into what was happening. I pay attention to my surroundings a lot, and I seen someone who was locked into what was happening around him. And at that time, I don't know if you can remember that, but what do you believe you were feeling during those first moments on that campus?
Yeah, man, Oakwood was a culture shock for me. Culture shock. I had never been in an environment like Oakwood. Yeah. I had never been around so many Black Adventists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I grew
been
up
around
like, you know, all Black neighborhoods, all Black schools. Every woman I've dated is Black.
Yeah.
You know,
By the grace of God.
that was just you know what I was around, so that's what I liked. But Black Adventism is a subculture. It's a sub-world, right? Within the larger scope of the world. So, you know, just to be in that setting, it was weird to know so many people were related to so many people on campus, right?
Yes.
I just felt like everybody was related to somebody, right? To see so many people who knew each other, right? So like your Atlanta crew, right?
Yeah.
And you started hearing about like these your Berean and your Maranatha and
West End.
and you started hearing like all the connections. So I was like, man, like I was never a part of this world. So it was different to be like, okay. And then of course like to see like, you know, the choirs and just the culture of Oakwood and everything about it, I was like, huh. And of course, right, I had never been to college, and I had never been to an HBCU. So just being at the HBCU was a culture shock. But to me, I just realized, like, wow, like there's a lot of people who have a similar story as me. But look where they are, right? It was to me, growing up in Tampa, and this is the thing about success, right? That success is not just about grit, it's also about geography. Does that make sense? Like,
break that down for me.
So in other words, it's, okay, and I'm not trying to offend nobody. Life right now is hard in America. Okay, I want to make that very clear, right? I'm not making any, did I make any judgmental statements right there?
No,
right? Yeah, okay, did I make any condemnatory statements right there?
Absolutely not.
Okay, yeah, so life is hard in America, period. Right? I want to make that clear. However, in addition to, furthermore, right, there is a level of exposure and access that we have in this country simply because of our geography. That's just it, right? So a lot of times, people will talk about Mark Zuckerberg, right? And how he started Facebook at the age of 19 and 20 years old in a college dorm because he was trying to connect, horny college students with each other and all that kind of stuff. But dude, the reality is that Mark Zuckerberg's story doesn't start at the age of 19. It starts at the age of 9. Because his dad, if I remember correctly, was I think like a medical professional, but he was a tech enthusiast. So like back like in the early 1990s, his dad had a desktop computer. But in the early 1990s, having a computer at home was not a normal thing like today. It was rare to have a computer and a fully like automated setup desktop computer. So like that's not just grit, that's geography. He had a level of exposure, right? So he sees his dad like tinkering with tech. He gets to use tech at the age of 9. He gets to understand how tech works. So the story of Mark Zuckerberg isn't about a 19-year-old kid who had a level of grit for entrepreneurship and he created this product and it launched from there. It's a story about a kid who had exposure at the age of 9. That once you see something, you can't unsee it. Right? You think about what's your boy from France, soccer player, Mbappe. If you guys follow soccer, right? People, Mbappe is great. You know that, and when Mbappe was younger, Mbappe took a picture with Cristiano Ronaldo when he was maybe like 10, 11, 12. That's not a photo op.
No, that was real.
That's
real life.
Right. That's access. Yeah. Because Mbappe's dad was a soccer coach. Right? So again, not to discredit or disqualify or disregard Mbappe's work ethic or Mark Zuckerberg's work ethic or your work ethic, but there's a level of access that you have because you're in this country, a level of the fact that we see people who come from the dirt and they pull themselves up by bootstraps that either A, were given to them, or bootstraps that they stole, or bootstraps that they built themselves. One of the three.
Yeah.
Right? And I still have to say Oakwood, to me, became that environment where, wait a minute, I had never seen anything like this. But now that I see that it's possible, now I can't unsee the fact that it's possible. Now that I know it's possible, right? Before I used to think the ceiling was the limit. No, now the sky is the limit. Wait a minute, there's a whole other galaxy. Like I didn't realize there was more out there. So now that I've been exposed to more, now I have now Oakwood created an appetite that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like I was hungry for something.
Absolutely.
Right. I was hungry for something, but I didn't know what it was. And I did not have the verbal ability to articulate what it was that I wanted until I got to Oakwood. And I said, yo, I never realized I had an appetite for that. Yeah. And now Oakwood has exposed me to a hunger that I cannot satisfy on my own. So now I'm so hungry for it. At this point, that's all I think about.
So basically what you're saying, for the people like me, right? I'm one of those people that I need to be able to say it out loud for it to become real in my brain. Like I feel like I understand what you're saying, but I want the confirmation.
You want it clear.
The geography works in tandem with the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
where you are and what you have access to, or what you give yourself access to, or what you gain access to, have to work in tandem for you to have success.
Correct. And here's a challenge, right? There's a lot of people who, because of where they are, all they've seen is all they ever will see.
Yep.
So you have to physically move yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you may have to move yourself from a state to a country. I mean, if you have the means, sure. But it's about, what are you watching? What are you listening to? Right? Because you could move yourself physically and still be in the same place mentally.
Yeah.
Right? So, like I told you, when I moved from Tampa, Florida to Orlando, Florida, I had a change in location, but the change in location didn't change my behavior. Because I was still operating with the same old operating system. It wasn't until there was something shifted when I got to Oakwood, but that's again a different geography, right? But I've always had that dog, right? You got that dog, like you have the X factor, you have the it factor, right? But it's about geography. How can I move myself into a different environment where I can see, like, wait a minute, I didn't think that was possible. The reason why La Russell is so successful is because for many years, artists thought that the only way, we're talking about a million ways to do it, the only way to do it was through a record label.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, because he's done it a different way, other artists are saying, wait a minute, I don't have to go through a record label. And the only reason he signed with Jay-Z is not because he had to.
He had the option.
Options. That's my point.
Back to the options.
See, and that's my point. Last thing, and I'm gonna shut up after this. The reason why to me, wealth is options, is because if you limit wealth to just the tangible, right, it will always slip away like oil in your hands. You can't really grasp it. Right? And the reason why wealth to me is options is because any other version of wealth, I think, is always tied to an invisible string. And I don't want to be tied to a person or to people who are telling me when to wake up and what to do and how to do it. Like, as an entrepreneur, people don't realize this. People think that entrepreneurship is like, oh, I'm my own boss. No, your boss are your customers. Right? But I'm not trying to operate that way. I'm trying to operate, again, you know what, today? I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I have the freedom to say that. And the resources to not do it if I don't want to.
Yeah.
Options.
Yeah.
La Russell had options where he was able to negotiate with Jay-Z. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he turned down Jay-Z twice.
He did.
Let's think about that objectively. Turn down, we talking about Jay-Z.
Yeah, we're talking about Jay-Z. Okay?
We're talking about Sean Carter.
We're talking about Sean.
How do you turn down Jay-Z twice? Because I got options.
I love that you brought up this La Russell point, because to me, he's opened up a lane for so many other artists to be able to see that it's possible. Like you said, when you see it, you can't unsee it, right? That and now we see people like J. Cole, for instance. He's used the same platforms as La Russell to put out some of his own music now, right? An artist of that magnitude being able to do the same thing that La Russell's doing in terms of using a platform like Even, where you can go direct to consumer, to your audience, and say, hey, here's a product that I've put together. How can I, and speaking of products, you've worked on a product and put a product out.
Yeah.
I want to get to that. You have a book out, Max. How has that process been? I've heard you say that you did this book and it took you years to put together because you didn't want to do it with no ChatGPT, no anything. You wanted to struggle. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, man. So I'll say this. We live in a generation right now where They didn't lie to us, but they didn't prepare us. And maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they could never prepare us because nobody expected the world to turn out the way it did right now. We were taught, go to school, get good grades, pass your SAT, your ACT, your standardized test, go to college, get good grades, get a degree, get a good job, save money, buy a house, retire. Those were the 10 things that they told us to do. If you do those 10 things, you will have a successful life.
By 14.
Dude.
By 14 years old.
Yeah.
40.
Right. We all know, the three of us know plenty of people who have followed that same guideline.
Yes.
And life has not worked out the way that they thought it should have worked out. There are plenty of people with degrees, multiple, more than their parents, and ain't got no job.
What's that Kanye skit where he was like, "You sleep with all them degrees? You got all them degrees? What you doing with them degrees?"
Right. So, and I'm aware that there are many people in our generation, I'm talking about specifically in America, right? That, dude, I feel like all of my plans have been ripped to shreds. Like, what can I do? Right? I apply for jobs and no one's hiring. I tweak my resume, no one's hiring. I tried to do this, that, and the third. I went and got a degree. I went back to school, no one's hiring. I can't even get hired at Target, right? I mean, nothing in life is working out for me. I feel like all these things are stacked against me. That's what a lot of people feel. And they feel frustrated because they feel like they are hamsters in a wheel, right? Or like a car stuck in mud. Right? Or like running on a treadmill where you're making a lot of movement, but you're not making a lot of progress. Like I just feel stuck and I feel flustered and frustrated. I feel like, dang, like I thought my 20s were supposed to be the time that I was living it up. And now I'm still living with my parents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who, right. So there's a lot of people who feel like, life is passing them by. Like I should have been here by now. Whatever here is, I should have been married by now, kids by now, in my career by now, promoted by now, a house bought right now, 10,000 in my savings by now. Like I feel like I should have been there by now. And instead, I feel like I have all these disadvantages stacked against me. I can't do this and I can't do this and this isn't working out and that didn't work out and it's been 5 years and it's been 300 rejections. And so I realized, hey, wait a minute. I think that my generation has it misunderstood though. Because everybody's so focused on what they can't do. Because everyone's like, well, I don't know how to do that. And I don't know how to do this. And I think what I'm attempting to articulate to my generation is the issue is not that you don't know what to do. The issue is that you don't do what you do know how to do.
Wow.
Does that make sense? So
yes,
that
summarizes what we're all about.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole premise of the book. That's the whole premise of the book. Like the issue is not that you don't know what to do. The issue is that you don't do what you do know how to do. Do that. So I give you an example, right? Like as a pastor, I mean, I make a comfortable salary, right? Comfortable. I'm not like big baller, shot caller, still tipping Mike Jones. I'm not none of that. I'm also not like, dirt poor. But again, me and my wife have been very intentional about our finance, that kind of stuff. So we're okay. You know what I'm saying? Like if I miss a paycheck, I'm not going to die. If I miss 3, we might die. So as long as I don't miss 3, I'm fine, right?
You're still relating to the audience here.
Right. So for me, it's okay. I understand that the market is, people debate whether or not, I think the market is saturated, but it's saturated with a lot of phonies.
Yes.
Right? So I say that to say, there's a lot of people who are writing books. Right? A lot of people who are speakers. A lot of people who are trying to be entrepreneur. A lot of people who are trying to be, trying to get into the public speaking space, right? All that kind of stuff. So I could look at social media and be like, yo, look at all these speakers. Look at all these authors. And I could focus on the oversaturation. I could focus on I don't have a big following. I could focus on I don't have a publishing company. I could focus on But the issue is not that I don't know what to do. The issue is that I don't do what I do know how to do. What is it that I know how to do? I know how to tell a good story. I know how to build people so I can build teams. I know how to build organizations. I've been doing it for 7 years now. That's how long I've been pastoring. And I know how to build organizations with no money. And I know how to do it with volunteers. Right? I write sermons every single week, 52 weeks out of the year for 7 years. Right? People don't realize this. I basically write a term paper every single week. And I give an oral presentation on that term paper every single week. And on top of it, I intentionally don't use any notes.
Wow.
I intentionally just internalize, not memorize. I internalize what I have written in my manuscript. And I go out and, for lack of better words, present or perform it. And I've been doing this for 7 years. So,
112.
right. So again, we talking about the book. If I can write a sermon, I can write a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's about, again, the issue is not that, I don't know what to do. Max, just do what you do know how to do. But just take what you do and just flip it. That's it. Just flip it another way. If you can write a sermon, can you write a book? Right? If you can preach a sermon, can you give a keynote presentation? If you can speak to people who are 99, can you speak to people who are just 9? If you can speak to professionals in your congregation, can you speak to professionals in a corporate setting? If you can speak to young adults at a federation, can you speak to young adults at a university? Like, can you just take what you do and just flip it and apply it to somewhere else? And the answer is yes. So do that and just change the steering of the ship just a little bit. Just let it course correct. Go in that direction and see what happens. Because again, the issue is not that you don't know what to do. The issue is you don't do what you do know how to do. Do that. And right now, I'm at a stage where and I'm gonna need y'all's help with this actually in this conversation. I want to interview you guys because I got a question for y'all. I'm trying to just figure out, right, what exactly is the problem that I solve that I can have a level of measurable outcomes. Like, what is the pain? How do I measure the payoff? Once I kind of get that clarity, I think that's the next level for me. But hopefully that answers the question what the whole book is about.
Wow. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to read the book yet, but I'm going to, and I will be buying, spending however much money to buy it because I feel like it will genuinely change my life. And I think that your purpose and your mission of what it is that you do, it aligns very, very much so with what we're doing here, right?
Absolutely.
I'm no expert by any degree, but I want to paint this picture right here. Hensley was not a theology major. I was a theology major. Max was a theology major. Mm-hmm. Max was a pastor. I decided to go into chaplaincy. You decided to do something completely different. Mm-hmm. But we're all sitting in the same room, having the same conversation, trying to figure out the same thing. So if anybody out there feels like, well, I can't relate to you because you're doing writing. I'm no good at writing. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
Do what you know how to do.
Yes.
Do what you know how to do.
What were we speaking on? What we wanted to have the next? This is such an aligning conversation because we spoke about using what you have
to get what you need.
It's
crazy because I was gonna ask him that. I was literally right here gonna say, okay, so how did you use what you have to get what you need? Because it's a saying that my mom always told me when I was growing up. How? And you gave it. Do what you know how to do and do it well.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about just doing it. It's about being able to do it well. Refine the little areas that okay, I could do this better because I know how to do that better. And then when you are able to master that specific skill or whatever it is that you're trying to work on, then you tailor it to other avenues. Then you take it into this room. Then you take it into that room. And then when you look back and you're like, oh, wow, this is a well-oiled down machine.
Yeah.
Like this is refined clay right here,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And one thing that that the constant that we've been talking about, but I love and I want to highlight because I have no shame and I'm proud to say it out loud, is that God is in the center of that, right? If not for God, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what I know how to do and how to do it well. So my question to you, Max, is what were your realistic struggles throughout that, right? There's been a lot of encouraging talk, but I want to know, and I know that my audience wants to know, what specifically were some of your struggles throughout that process that you had no choice but to lean on God with, and that God allowed you to experience on your own so that you could grow because He's already taught you that lesson?
Yeah, man. So I mean, realistic struggles. I'll just go through them like a bullet point, right? So deportation of dad, single parent home, not knowing my dad. Obviously, in a single parent home, you're below the poverty line, right? So all of those things. A lot of anger in my life, but the anger turned into indifference. Indifference meaning like I don't care, right? So I don't want to feel. It feels, the hurt is so bad. I don't want to feel anything, right? And so if you don't allow yourself to feel hurt, you also don't allow yourself to feel love and joy and all the beautiful things of life, right? To be the frame that I am, right? So I haven't always been the fastest, the strongest, the most athletic. And so obviously, it doesn't matter whether we grew up in the West Coast, the East Coast, the North, or the South, right? Here in America, sports is part of that culture, right? A guy to be in sports. So, you know what I'm saying, to be cut from the JV basketball team, right? Because of failing grades in algebra and chemistry, right? That does something to you. You know what I'm saying? To be suspended, to be withdrawn from school, right? To have administrators tell my mom, yo, blah, like Miss Kelva, he don't want it. Miss Kelva, you want it. He don't, Miss Kelva, he don't want to be here. He don't want to be here, Miss Kelva. Miss Kelva, you want it more than he does.
Wow.
He don't want to be here, Miss Kelva, right? To see the disappointment in my mom's face over and over again, right? You know what I'm saying? To be married, right, and struggle as a husband and how to do this thing called marriage, right? To see my wife struggle, right? To come together with our finances and purchase our first home, to then lose that home in less than 2 years, right? To see my wife struggle with lack of employment, right? My wife is a black woman with 2 degrees, and as a result of Trump, right, she is one of the 360,000 black women that have lost their federal jobs. I mean, that's our story. You know what I'm saying? To see my mom now struggle with mental health, right? My mom has to be admitted into psychiatric care, right? But we are miles away, right? I have no other siblings. I am the only person that can take care of this woman who took care of me for basically all my life, right? And so, right, just as a man, you're now juggling these things, right? And you're learning now. I'm at a point in my life, brethren, where the mistakes that I make are costly. Because even though I'm learning it for the first time, I have to learn it for the first time with people who are depending on me. Right? And so there's that weight, there's that guilt, right? Of like, I should have known better. But how could you have known better if you've never done this before? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in uncharted territory because no one in my family has ever made it this far. So I have what I call no point of reference. I can't be like, yo, dad. Oh, never mind. I can't be like, yo, mom. Never mind. I'd be like, uncle. Oh, no. Hey, auntie. I don't have no one to be like, okay, I know you used to be here. Can you tell me how you did that? So I have to trailblaze it on my own. But there's a lot of landmines that I end up stepping on because I don't know what I don't know. That is the disadvantage of being in your 20s, right? You're inexperienced. So you have to learn through the muck and the mire. Yes, can you reach out to other adults, older adults who have been there down the road? Absolutely. That's why community is important, right? But loneliness. We feel loneliness at times, and maybe not loneliness to the point of depression or unaliving yourself, but there are a lot of guys who feel loneliness. I know loneliness is something that many times I have felt as well. And so all these different struggles, right? Kind of just bullet points. These are all the different things that I overcame. These are things that I'm dealing with right now as we speak.
Wow. I first off, thank you for that level of vulnerability that you're able to share with our audience and us. I also want to ask, how have you not let that deter you from your ultimate goal? Because I understand how a lot of the times what I try to say, a saying to myself that I've tried to implement as much as possible over the last couple of years is get out of your own way. Right, because I believe that we are our ultimate deterrent in our own success, right? Like we hold ourselves back because of either our thought process or how we feel. You know, feelings get in the way of certain things a lot of times, and I want to know, how have you done your best to stay the course?
Oh, I got the question right here. This is what I want to put on the episode name. It's, how did you force the needle? Like what decision you made kept you ticking, right? What was that for you?
Yeah, so let me answer Hansley's and then I'm going to get to yours, Matthew. Number one, feelings are indicators, not dictators.
That's a bar.
All right, Lil Russell. We see what you're doing, man.
I'm stealing that.
But does that make sense?
It does.
Right? Indicator.
Please break that down.
Right? It's an indicator. It just makes me aware. That's it. It's just a level of awareness that I feel sad and I feel alone and I feel angry and I feel perplexed and I feel unclear and I feel confused, right? I understand that. We're not dismissing, we're not denying, we're not diminishing, but it is an indicator. It is not the dictator. It cannot be in the driver's seat. It has to be in the passenger seat, because you feel that way today and you feel some way tomorrow, right? So number one, right, it's just an indicator. I can become aware of it and I know that it's there, but I can't let it course correct me. Now, Matthew, what moved the needle for me? I think that what makes a man is not his genitalia, it's not his penis, it's not, his physiology or biology. I think what makes a man is one word, and it's responsibility. That's what makes a man. When I was in Columbus, Ohio, when I first started pastoring, first started in my career in 2019, living by myself, I was chilling, trying to be disciplined and do that kind of stuff, saving money, all that kind of stuff. But when my mom visited me during COVID, and my mom is a typical Caribbean woman, right? Does not wear her emotions on her sleeve. But man, my mom had like a mental episode that I've never seen before. And ever since then, like my mom, as a 56-year-old woman, right, is struggling with her mental health to the point like she has had to be committed. This is real talk. She's had to be committed into psychiatric care because something is not right with her mind anymore, right? When I saw that, and there was a weight. There's no one else that she can call. It is my responsibility. And then, August 25th, 2023, I got married to my wife. And in my vow, I wrote it the day of, and I said, wow, you're going to take on the last name Gomez. My wife's maiden name is Wilson. I said, I realized that the last name Wilson has birthed you, carried you, fed you, wiped you, cleaned you, supported you, provided for you, catered to you, spoiled you, protected you. I said, now the last name Gomez is making a public decree and declaration that the last name Gomez will do as good or better of a job than the last name Wilson. I said, yeah, I have no other option, Matthew, because people are depending on me now. It's responsibility. So keeping the why at the forefront of my mind every single day. If I don't do it, they don't eat. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean that literally.
This is real life.
They don't eat. I have to make sure that they eat. I have to make sure that my mom has health insurance. This is real talk. I have to make sure my wife has health insurance, right? My wife has not been working for 3 years. If I don't go out to kill, we don't get to come home and eat. Responsibility. That's what moves the needle. And if you notice, what moves the needle has nothing to do with me.
No.
Right? It's not self-centered, it's other-centered. And when whatever it is that you want to do, when it's centered on somebody else, right? Because when you center it on yourself, the truth is, many people don't respect themselves. And the reason I know you don't respect yourself is because you've broken promises to yourself over and over and over again. Right? The highest level of disrespect is when you break promises to yourself. Like, you said you were going to the gym. So if you don't respect you, how can I respect you? Right? If your word don't have no weight to you, how can your word have weight to me? But when you shift it, like, yo, I'm not going to the gym for me. I'm going to the gym because I need to be the kind of husband, the kind of father that can protect my children if an intruder comes, right? The mindset shift all of a sudden. It's not about me. It's not about vanity no more. Right? Now, before, hey, man, I want to post content every day. Well, you're only doing it for the metrics. But when you're like, no, there is somebody that I'm trying to reach. There's a problem I'm trying to solve. There's someone who like is on the verge of getting the noose and tying it around their neck. Like, if I don't get this post out today, this might be the last one they see. I need to get it out for them. There's a higher level of determination and conviction and motivation. I need to do this, not for me, but for them. That's what moves the needle, Matthew. It's responsibility.
Wow. I mean, I felt that one heavily. But before we continue, let's take a short second because I don't want there to be any mishap on the phone or on the thing. So I'm going to check to make sure everything is still set in place and good to go. Yeah, we are good. And we're going on 54 minutes, 33. Oh yeah, we're great.
Oh, awesome.
We're great.
Awesome.
And I am going to tell Jaden now, you can resume. I tested that break because I prayed before the beginning of this that everything went smoothly. And transparency-wise, because we told our audience that we'd be transparent the next week, which would be this week as we're having this episode, that we're posting consistently and we're doing all of these different things consistently. Mm-hmm. And you have attested now that we need a change in mindset, right? It's not for us. We're not doing it because we want to, but we shouldn't break our own promises. We need to shift our minds to who we are talking about, who we're talking to, who we're presenting our message to. Mm-hmm. And look at God, bro.
Man,
50, we're good. The battery percentage is good. The iPad's good. Mind you, these things always fail us every week. For some reason it does. But here we are, right? So yeah, let's continue. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
No, man, you've spoken on so many important subjects. Matthew has mentioned earlier, you're a theology major, and you've spoken on being entrepreneur. How have those two things coincide? And did entrepreneurship, was that always in your foresight, or was it, or was that something you came to the decision where like, this is the path I want for myself?
Yeah, man, good question. I didn't even consider entrepreneurship until the pandemic.
Wow.
And so here's the reason why. And again, success is not just about grit. It's also about geography.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, maybe like 12 or 13 years old, something like that. My mom would work 40 to 60 hours in a bakery every week, right? Standing on her feet, just trying to, make ends meet. To give an example, man, and this is back in 2015, tuition at Oakwood for the year was higher than my mom's yearly salary.
Oakwood University.
So my mom decided, I'm gonna my mom has always been into health, like vegetarian, vegan eating, natural stuff. So she's like, I'm gonna start making like homemade hummus and selling it, right? She tried it for about 3 months, and she just met some obstacles along the way. And I remember my mom told me, hey, help me out in the kitchen. We're gonna pack up all these little plastic containers. And I asked her something. I don't remember what it was exactly. And her response was, well, we're just not business people. That's it. We're just not business people. Remember, all you ever seen is all you've ever seen.
Yeah.
If it's all you know, it's all you know. Yeah. So from a young age, that just sat in the back of my mind, settled into the garden of my heart. We're just not business people. That's it. And it is now what I call a self-limiting belief. It's just, we're not business people. So I just assumed if it didn't work for my mom, it's not going to work for me. It may work for other people, it just won't work for me. Self-limiting belief. That what happened with them does dictate and determine what happens with me. Until the pandemic. You know, everybody's cooped up at home, online. And I see this guy that I've heard of before. His name is Jeremy Anderson. Right? Motivational speaker. And I've heard of Jeremy before. Actually, I've seen Jeremy in person before one time. That's a whole other story. And I just saw that he created this thing called the Next Level Speakers Academy. Right? Like a mastermind, a course for people who want to get into the public speaking space. And I just started watching what he was doing. And I said, wait a minute. That's possible?
I can do that.
Right? That's a thing. And I know Jeremy's story because he said it many times. And that's when I said, wait a minute. But if he can do it, I can do it. That's how the whole entrepreneurship thing started, man. I just saw and I said, okay, but I didn't move on it. I didn't move on it. I didn't start moving on it until 2023. I said, okay, I need to do something. And that was the time when my wife lost her job. And I said, yeah, I need to do something, right? And me just doing this, me just relying on an organization to cover me and my family, they're never going to do it. Number one, they don't care. No, number two, they don't care. Number one, it's not their responsibility. It's mine. Yeah. Right? So that's when I said, well, how can I find another way to not just bring in income, but how can I find something that I can build on my own? And that's how the journey started.
Fair enough. Well, that kind of leads me to, the next question, because I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about how you went through it, with the things that you did, that you accomplished. But for me, especially right now, I'm posting on TikTok, I'm posting on YouTube with my podcast, I'm starting a YouTube channel on my own, I have a photography company that has gained a little bit of traction, I'm a music teacher full time, and I drive Uber, right? I'm doing 6 different things all at one time. But for me, there's a lot of times where I feel like there are some setbacks, where I feel motivated, I'm sitting in front of the laptop and I'm ready to do it, and then something happens, right? What, if you don't mind sharing, were some setbacks for you? Because you said 2020 is when you were inspired to do it, but 2023 is when you started. What in between that time frame, if you wanted to call it a setback, were some of those things that someone else can take and say, okay, I relate to that, but this is how you got through it, so I can get through it right now?
Yeah, I didn't have no setbacks. The reason why there's a 3-year gap is because of one word: desperation. I wasn't desperate enough. I wasn't desperate enough. Right? I was single in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in Columbus, Ohio, making 65 grand a year. My rent was $900.
Wow.
I love it.
My rent, y'all hear me? My rent was $900 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Oh,
yeah, okay. No, I hear you. Because right now,
right.
I can use
1,010 square feet by myself. Right. I was driving a Dodge Challenger, fully paid.
I remember that.
Fully paid.
I can attest to this because I remember I don't know if you remember this when we a group of us had went to Ohio. It might have been like 2021. Yeah, and we seen Max's car. We went out for lunch. I think he had brought us to this nice little restaurant. Went to lunch and we seen this man in his nice little Dodge Challenger. He said, he said, hey man, blessings. It's the car I wanted. It's the car I got.
Right. So again, I mean, Matthew, I just wasn't desperate. Right? I wasn't uncomfortable enough. That's the setback, if you want to call it that. It just wasn't desperate. Right? Like, and the truth is, I mean, I know you want it, but but do you really? Yeah, do you really want it, right? So like, based off of the last 6 months, because someone told that you want it. Or how bad do you want it? Like, do you want it bad enough that you're willing to lose sleep?
Yo, let me tell you right now. Let me tell you right now. Before this conversation, the answer was no, I didn't want it, right? Before this, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, beginning of this year, actually, let's say October.
Yeah.
October 5th, 2025. Before then, I didn't want it bad enough, right? But the moment I put this ring on my finger, the moment that I got married and I got settled down, I said, whoa. I have to feed you and my dog?
Yeah.
And me?
Yeah.
That's when it became very clear to me, like, okay, something's got to give.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how tired I am. I basically get 5 hours of sleep consistently every single day because I'm out Ubering, and at the time that I'm Ubering, being transparent here, I'm telling people in the backseat, hey, I got a photography company. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I'm actually posting on YouTube now. I've got TikTok, so if you want to be featured or you can tell your story, let me know. Now I'm doing that. But if I look back and I try my best not to go back to 2023 when I started doing Uber and TikTok and stuff and say, dang, why didn't if I had just stayed consistent? Like you said, I can only see what I've seen. Mm-hmm. I only know what I know. Mm-hmm. So now I know more and I'm putting in that effort and that work. I shouldn't be discouraged by the things that I didn't do before because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Now I do know, and it's about what I'm doing with that knowledge today. And that right there was the million way to it for me for this episode is that the million way or the one way out of a million that you've shared with me is going to inspire me to create my own lane like you created your own lane from what you saw from what Jeremy Anderson was showing. I can create my own lane. I can do that differently. I can do it differently. I don't have to say yes to the big billionaire Jay-Z, Sean Carter. I don't have to do that. I can be the big billionaire, right? I can be Matthew Corden. I can do it on my own. I think that is just like, if anyone's listening right now, if you've made it this far in this episode, first and foremost, pray.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I haven't made it this far. I haven't been able to have the position to have the conversation with you or with Max without prayer, right? And number two, are you desperate enough? Are you desperate enough? Like, do you really want it?
Urgency.
Yeah, do you really want it? Because if you don't want it, that's cool. Maybe that's good enough for you, but for me personally, it's not. So you're gonna see me grow. You're gonna see Max grow. You're gonna see Hensley grow. You're not gonna see us where we were 2 months ago. You're not gonna see us where we were today. We are going to show you. And here's our testimony, brother. Tell them what we did this week. What did we say we were gonna do last week that we completed this week?
We told ourselves, listen, there's 3 things we know we want to get done. We're going to get these 3 things out. We have on our Instagram, we do a song of the week. We said, yep, we're going to get that out.
Done.
We're going to make sure I get our clip out.
Done.
We're going to make sure I get our episode out.
Done.
No matter what happens, we just got to stay consistent with those 3 things. If we're going to hold ourselves accountable for that, we did our job.
Yep.
And we did those things.
Yep.
Right? Like, one thing I want to touch on, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but you spoke on a lot of people who you've seen. Who have you used to model or the blueprint? You've spoken on LaRusso, Jeremy Anderson. Who have you specifically used to model your entrepreneurial journey around?
Yeah, man. So right now, I mean, there's a bunch of people who I'm learning from. Just seeing what works for them. Trying to understand their story. But dude, there's so many. Like, there's people I watch on YouTube. There's people I watch on LinkedIn. There's people I watch on TikTok. There's people I watch on Instagram. I just going off this, like Casey Brown on LinkedIn, Darius Daniels on YouTube, Alex Hormozy, Myron Golden on YouTube, Omar Taktori. I probably butchered that last name, but he's on YouTube and Instagram as well. Jun Yu on Instagram and TikTok as well. Jeremy Minor on YouTube. Deshauna Barber on Instagram. Ryan Leak on Instagram. I'm just studying, right? So it's funny because 5 years ago I was naming artists and athletes like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so funny you said that. I was literally about to say, it sounds like you have completely shifted your algorithm, right?
Yes.
Like what you consume is the things that you want out of life, right? Like I think in full transparency, for me, my algorithm is very all over the place, right? And it's because I do like a level of detachment from everything else, and I think I've only come to this point recently where I'm just like, I think I need to reconfigure my algorithm again. It's not that I'm not getting some of this stuff, but what's being put in between the weeds of it all is still other nonsensical stuff I really don't need. You know, it's other content that's not necessarily helping me get to the place where I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
So that shift has allowed for you to. How has that helped within your journey to just have that be the algorithm you have now in comparison to what it was before?
By beholding, we become changed. That's it. I mean, it's literally that, man. It is literally that. By beholding, we become changed. And I realized that there's just more for you and me out there. And I realized that, yeah, man, I don't want an update of my life. I want an upgrade of my life. That's it. Right? I don't want an update because, it's simple, right? An update, if you think about it from like a software technical standpoint, right? An update are small improvements to already an existing model. But an upgrade is a complete overhaul, a complete transformation from an old model to a new model. So, in other words, do you want a faster horse or do you want a brand new car? Right? Or let me take it a step further. Do you, right? So the question is, do you want to be a caterpillar that is fast? Or do you want to be a butterfly that flies? See, a caterpillar that is fast, that's just an update. You're a faster caterpillar, but you're still vulnerable to the attacks that are on the ground. You are still on the ground. You're still at a lower level and a lower platform. So you can be a caterpillar that is fast, but you're still vulnerable to the very real attacks and threats that are on the ground. Or you can be an upgraded version of yourself and be a butterfly that flies. In other words, you can either be an inferior version of yourself, or you can be the intended version of yourself. That's the main thing. So for me, that's kind of where I fall on right now, where, man, I don't want to be just the updated version of myself. I want to be the upgraded version of myself.
Fair. I personally have one more question for you, right?
Please.
Because out of everything that I've heard you say today, I'm feeling inspired, I'm feeling impacted, and I was for sure entertained because the storytelling that Max Gomez has been consistent from the moment that I've known him till now. He gave an AY that changed my whole experience when taking biblical preaching with Tony Snow. I mean, was it Tony Snow? Is that what it is? Is it Tony Snow? That's not his name. Pastor Deb. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm sorry, Pastor Snow. That's on me. My question to you is, if I'm in this seat right now, I'm on my phone, I'm consuming content, I want to be better for myself, but I haven't taken on that level of responsibility. I'm not desperate enough. What can I do that can change in the next 24 hours? What's something that you will say I need to do right now when I close off this video? After subscribing to Max Gomez on all platforms, after subscribing to the Million Ways to It podcast on all platforms, what should I do next in the next 24 hours that will allow me to get to where I want to be?
24 hours, what's the next thing you want to do to get you to the next place where you want to be? For the next 24 hours, pray that God strips you of all your options. That's it. Pray.
Make it desperate.
Pray that God strips you of all your options. Because the reason why many of us don't act on certain things that move the needle It's because we are deciding between options and decisions. Options and decisions are not the same thing. I take that back. Choices and decisions. Pray that God strips you of all your choices. That's what I meant to say. Pray that God strips you of all your choices. Why? Because the word choices literally means 2 or more options. The word decision comes from the Latin word decidere, which means to cut off. Right? Like decide, suicide, it means to cut off. Suicide means to cut off one's life. But to decide means to cut off any other option. You guys, you just have too many choices. Which is why you can entertain, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Cut it off. Cut it all off. God, cut off every choice in my life. Leave me with one. That I have to decide whether I do this or I do nothing. Because right now, it's just too many choices. Right? Which is why people struggle to like pick a movie on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime. Right?
Facts.
It's too many choices. Do you know why Chick-fil-A is so successful? One of the many reasons is because their menu is so small. You only get 5 things. You can only get a number 1 chicken deluxe, a number 2 a spicy chicken deluxe, number 3 some chicken nuggets, number 4 some fries, and number 5 a milkshake. That's all we got. And if you notice all of those things, you can combine 3 or 4 of them, and that's your complete meal. But that's the whole menu. And if you want to be fancy, throw in a salad. That's all we have. Right? Versus you go to Sonic, you go to BK, you go to Taco Bell. People, no, can you give me a minute? Can you give me a minute? Can you give me 5 minutes?
Can I get a,
right?
Hold on.
Too many choices. So when you have to, do you notice how quickly the lines move at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Right?
Quick.
Now the lines
they
are
know
long.
what they want. Yeah.
The lines are wrapped around. Like if you're at a Chick-fil-A that's like, you know, in a plaza, you know, the Chick-fil-A line is wrapped to like the raw store. Like it's
Yeah. But I'll sit in that line because I know I'm gonna get my food.
It's gonna,
right. And
that line's going too.
Right. But if you notice, think about yourself. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you already know what you want. Because you're not deciding between choices. You're deciding. It's a decision. I've cut off every other option. I just want this. And when I come, I drive with purpose. I take out my wallet with purpose. I use my words with purpose. Everything is purpose-filled to that one decision. Your problem is you have too many choices. So pray that in the next 24 hours, God, strip me of every choice that I don't need to be entertaining. I just need to make one decision. And I need to make that one decision every single day. It's the boring part that you have to live through now. Live through the boring part. Live through the unsexy part. Do the one thing every single... I just need one decision. What's the one thing that's going to move the needle? Can I do 10 things? Yes. But do I have to do 10 things? No. I just need to do one thing today. 24 hours. Strip all of your choices.
All right. I mean, that answers my question. And I think I like the name of the episode you just gave us, Max. Live through the unsexy.
Live through
the unsexy. Because everything that we talked about, it looks a certain kind of way. But if you're not living through your experience, whatever that might be, living through your way to it, you're just looking at it.
Yeah.
You're just looking at it on a screen. You're just sitting there. I mean, you're looking at this video right now and you're thinking, oh, wow, I feel so motivated. Let me get up and do it. Cut your options off. Cut your choices off, rather.
Yep. Cut your choices off. Max, we want to extend an invitation for you to come on whenever.
Please.
However, whenever you have time, again, please come back because you gave so much value in this episode. We thank you for opening up and being vulnerable. Please tell the people where they can find you, which platforms, where they can get your book, and please give them the name.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything on Instagram, YouTube as well. On Instagram in my bio, you can find the book in the link in my bio as well. LinkedIn, but usually LinkedIn is where I connect with who I call the decision makers, right? The people who are holding the budgets. That's on LinkedIn. But if you just want to, man, just tag along for the story and just kind of see what I'm building day by day, week by week. I'm just documenting. I think that's what content creation has turned into now, right? Just document. Just show us what's going on. I think we're past the point of trying to hit virality. I think virality is a good strategy within your overall personal branding, but I think right now the number one currency is trust. It's trust. I think Target is a good example, right? Back when George Floyd was murdered unjustly, right? Target promised we're gonna, pump out. I think it was certain millions or like certain millions or a billion. I forgot which one it was, but we're gonna, give this money towards the black community, that kind of stuff, and they never did it, right? Which is why now, right, their CEO had to step down. He didn't really step down, but step down. Their stocks have plummeted, right? Because, well, we lost trust. There was no integrity behind your word. So I don't want to do business with someone who doesn't. I don't want to give my attention, because my attention is worth a lot, right? I don't want to give my follow. My follow is worth a lot. I cannot give that to you if you don't have integrity, right? So for me, man, Instagram is just where I show the journey, document the journey. On YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Been trying to get on that. And again, just you'll see a lot of like mess on both pages, right? Because I'm learning every single week, every single day, learning what works, what doesn't work. Because YouTube, Instagram, social media is a game. It's all a game. You know what I'm saying? And there's rules to the game. There's principles to the game that you just have to learn by being in the mess. But I found that success is in the mess. So man. Follow on Instagram, the one Max Gomez, and that same handle is on all platforms.
The one Max Gomez.
The one Max Gomez.
Yeah.
Max, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Man, we appreciate you even coming on here. Brother, did you feel inspired today?
Absolutement.
Did you feel impacted?
Absolutement.
How about entertained?
Absolutement.
Absolutely. And if you were not, we have a million more episodes to try.